Hi, this video is about an easy to use Bible reading program that I developed for myself, and I'd like to share it with you. Now, for the Christian, for the believer, reading the Bible is a non-negotiable. And when you read the Bible, you want to make sure that you are reading it all the way through, not just hitting and missing and reading what you think is interesting. You want to make sure you read the whole counsel of God, and that's why a Bible reading program is so important. Now, one of the problems that I have found with the Bible reading program and that other people have found is that it kind of gets you started in one part of the Bible and you kind of push through all the way through. And, it's sometimes you'll get through sections of the Bible that are just, they're kind of hard to get through. And let's just be honest. It's hard to say that about the Bible, but that's true. And then other things, other problems that you might find is they get you started on a certain date. And then if you miss a date for whatever reason, you find yourself behind, and sometimes that can be a daunting task to continue on and to catch up. So this Bible reading program kind of helps with those two things. So let me share. I'm going to go ahead and go down to my browser. And one of the things I want to let you know is I want to provide links to all of these for you. So this is a PDF. This is the Daily Bible Reading Log. This is what I developed years ago so that I could feel like I'm going through the Bible all myself. And it's pretty simple. There's 4 categories. There's the Gospel and Acts. There's Psalms and Proverbs. And then there's all the New Testament books that are not the Gospel and Acts, and all the other Old Testament books that are not Psalms and Proverbs. And so I will read one chapter in each one of those categories every single day. And that way I don't get stuck in one book of the Bible that kind of seems to be dragging on and on. So you can see here, you have the date, and then you mark down. So this would be like Matthew chapter 1, Psalms 1, Ephesians 1, 1 Corinthians 1. And so you just continue on every single day as you go. The cool thing is if you miss a day for whatever reason, you don't feel like you're behind. You don't feel like you can't catch up. You just start where you left off and then continue on. And this will ensure that you read the whole Bible. Now, one of the things that I do after I finish reading, like say the book of Matthew, when I was using the PDF version, I would write the book, Matthew down here, or I would have a list of New Testament books and Old Testament books, and I would write them down as I went. The problem with the PDF version that I found for myself is that I was printing out, every month I was printing out another PDF, and then I was transferring all the books of the Bible over just to make sure that I continued reading them. So I decided to, about 3-4 years ago, go to a sheet, to a Google Sheet, and I use this. It's on my phone, and it's basically the same concept. I have a date, the Gospel and Acts, Psalms, Proverbs, the categories here, and then I have the books of the Bible. So when I finish reading one of the books, I come over here and write it right next to the other version. So let me show you what my current one looks like. So you can see here that I hide as I continue going, and the sheet can get pretty long. I just start hiding the different cells. And so you see here, I started using the ESV here on November 12th, 2018. And so I started with John 1 and then continue going. As I finished the books of the Bible, you can see over here that when I finished Proverbs, I wrote that down over to the side. In Song of Solomon, I wrote that down. Over here with the New Testament, I have, I've written those down over here. So, it's pretty easy to write those down and keep up with which ones you have to read. And so I just keep going. And so one of the things that you can do here is when you get to, like, for instance, you read Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, and Acts, one of the things is go back and start reading the Gospels again. And so that way you keep the Gospels inside of you all the time. You're keeping Psalms and Proverbs and then New Testament and Old Testament. And you'll find that there will be times where you will find that it's just very interesting and you want to continue reading. Like here, I read Proverbs 9 and 10, and here Song of Solomon 6 through 8, probably more just to kind of get through the Song of Solomon. But here, Hebrews 5 and 6. And you just continue reading and going forth. So I'm going to give you a link to this Google Sheet. Of course, you can make one in Microsoft Excel if you want to do it that way. I'm going to give you a link to this one as well. When you click the link to the spreadsheet here, it's going to open up a sheet like this. And this way you click on make a copy, and it doesn't ruin the other sheets for other people. It's an editable sheet that you can make it your own. Now, a quick word about Bible translations. I'm going to link to this as well, this graphic. But you can see here as you go from the right to, or you go from the left to the right, you have word for word translations, thought for thought, and paraphrase. One of the things that people, theological or scholars will tell you that, you want a word for word. So basically, this is where you have the original languages and they just translated a word for a word. Other people will say you need thought for thought. So you don't necessarily need the words that they said. You want to understand the meaning behind those words. And so these Bible versions will fall in that. And then you have paraphrases here. So depending on your reading comprehension and where you are in your reading level, you need to make a good decision for the Bible, for reading the Bible. Because if you are over here in the paraphrase section, then I'd rather you read that to get going reading the Bible than trying to get over here and reading something like the King James Version or the New American Standard Version, because it would be hard to understand. Now, I would say you want to stay away from the Message Bible, but the New Living Translation Bible is a really good one, especially if you're starting out. And I would say even the Life Application Bible. And then maybe from the New Living Translation, you might want to jump to the NIV. The NIV is a good thought for thought. And then maybe the Holman Christian Standard Bible. I really like that one. That's the one I use in church right now. It's considered a dynamic equivalent, or an optimal equivalence, I'm sorry. It's right in the middle between word and word, word for word, and thought for thought. And then maybe when you continue reading, after you've read a couple of versions, you might want to go to the ESV or the New American Standard Bible there. So I will link to this one there. But again, the important thing is to start reading the Word of God. Put it inside of you when you don't need it, so it'll be there when you do need it. And this Bible reading program makes it very easy for you. So I'm going to go ahead and come back to my camera, and I'm just going to go ahead and end it out. It's very important for the believer to put the Word of God on the inside. And so I hope this Bible reading program will be a blessing to you. I hope you use it. If you have any questions, leave a comment, and I'll be happy to answer it. Thank you, and God bless.